we are now joined by the defensive coordinator, Todd Orlando. And I said, this is what a defensive coordinator should look like. And this is what I didn't know if you were capable of doing. I was going to ask you how many times you smiled today.
I actually did smile back there when I heard it.
But it's like the presence. I mean,
no doubt.
Like you're cut for this job.
I appreciate that. I guess in some strange way, I'll take that.
So what makes you smile on a day like this?
The collection of work, and then when those emails and faxes come in, it's very satisfying. It's like winning a game over and over again. So tremendous job by the staff. The situation that we were in getting in here a little bit later, and we worked our tails off, and are very, very happy with this class.
Yeah, this defense, when you have an opportunity to break down your scheme on film, it's not a defense that has a lot of bark. This defense has bite. Yeah. You have no problem bringing guys. It's an aggressive style of defense. Just explain to us about your philosophy on that side of the ball.
Well, it's especially in this league, it's the creativity by offenses, formations, the things that go on. Especially in this league, I just believe personally that if you just sit there and just take it, they'll eat you up. So the point is, I think the more multiple you are, and I always look at it from an offensive standpoint. When you go into an offensive meeting and you only have a couple looks that you have to prepare for, you can be extremely creative. But when you have a lot of things that you have to prepare from a defense, it'll kind of slow you down. So it's attack style. Try to get people into longer situations, especially on third down, and then bring them from all over the place.
Coach, why the 3-4 over the 4-3? Played in both. There are pros and cons to both, obviously, but why your preference?
Well, we base out of the 3-4, but we do play a decent amount of 4 down. So it's all depending on who we're playing, what fits our personnel. But more than anything else, I'd like to be in the range of 70-30, 3 down to 4 down. But there'll be some times where we're, 60-40. So it depends. It gives us a lot of flexibility. I think when you watch us on film, there'll be some games where we do start in 3 down, but there'll be some games we'll start in 4 down. We'll be multiple. We'll bring pressure. So I think that's if you were to ask an offensive person what's difficult to prepare for when you're multiple, and that's what we'll try to be.
Is that multiplicity predicated on the type of skill set you have? So if you've got a bunch of versatile, diverse players, you can do more?
Absolutely. And there's, like I said, when we got here, there's a lot of those type of kids, and that makes it very exciting. Originally when I had talked with Coach Herman, and I know the talent that's here, and to be able to to work with those guys to find out exactly what they're good at. And I had to go in here and with the staff and watch, the guys from last year to kind of get a grasp of what they could do and what they were good at. And then as we get into spring football, we'll kind of move the parts around and figure out what we can be.
What position makes the defense go?
The 2 inside linebackers, in my opinion. They've got to play at a high level. And to me, you have to have a bona fide corner. So those are the things that I look at when you're talking about an elite defense. Those are the 2 things that just pop into my head. At least it has been that way with me.
What are the characteristic differences or the things you're looking for with the MAC and the Rover position?
Well, the MAC is, he's got to have leadership. He's the quarterback of the defense. There's a lot of things that he'll say and he'll call, and he's got to be a thumper. He's got to be able to, hold point. From our Rover position, our weak side guy, he's a playmaker. Everybody that's been in there, and I think this shoots all the way back. I didn't coach Bobby Wagner, but Bobby played in a system like this, and it's a very productive position when in terms about being able to get to the quarterback, pressure, do those things. So those are the type of guys we're looking for.
And Malik Jefferson, is he the ideal fit for that Rover position?
Yeah, I think Malik will have a great chance. Malik reminds me of a couple guys that I've coached in the past. Malik explosive and had great talks with him, and I'm getting to know him. When that's the kind of the unique thing when you come into a situation, you're recruiting guys so hard, you almost know the recruits better than you know the guys on your team. So just to get with him and talk with him, and just for him to understand the expectation, that's the biggest part of it. Is there's a certain level and a certain standard that you're responsible for at the University of Texas. That's your responsibility. When you go on in between the lines, you got to play at a certain level. So the only way to do that is to train at a certain level. And that's my, collective talk to all those guys is you just don't go on the field and play at a high level and and just think that you're going to turn a switch on. It doesn't work that way. So that's what we're working on right now.
Coach, we talked a lot about the fact this is one of those transitional recruiting classes between the staffs. And right now, there's not the 5 stars, but those guys are going to come. Basically, the Ed Olivers of the world are going to be looking at the University of Texas. Take us back to Houston, that recruiting process. How do you get a guy like Ed Oliver at the University of Houston?
Yeah, well, it's unique with Ed because his brother had played for us and our relationship, so he was around quite a bit. And I think from Ed's standpoint, he looked at it and he wanted to be the centerpiece. And I think people will see that here, be the centerpiece of this defense and all the things that go along with being a great player in the state of Texas, especially if you're a Texas kid.
Yeah.
And that obviously those things will come as we continue to build our relationships, and we look forward to it. I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, if you can't take a great look at this university, I think there's something wrong with you. To me, this is the gold standard. And it's just not around in the South, but you go up northeast, you shoot over to Florida. I mean, you can go any place and say the word University of Texas, and it's the gold standard.
So for the guys that you have right here, right now, how are you challenging them? What do they have to do right now to make sure when the season rolls around, you are where you need to be as a defense?
Well, I think it's all training. To me, it's like anybody's job. If you came up here and didn't work at your craft and got on stage and were a little bit rusty, that's part of just training. And that's all we're trying to tell these guys is I think there's a perception that you can just turn it on and turn it off, and it's not that way. Games are won before they're even played, in my opinion. There'll be 3 or 4 plays where somebody will do something that's better than you athletically, one-hand catch, beat a couple guys, but the collection of plays, let's say there's 80 plays in a game, there's going to be 75 plays will be strictly based on training. How hard you go, how tough you are, all those things that go into how disciplined you are. So all those things, that's what we're doing right now. Or we're trying to win those battles before we even get on the field.
So were you saying I'm a little rusty from what you've seen so far?
No.
Okay. I'm open. If you've got catchphrases or anything that can help me out, please let me know.
Fine.
Okay.
Coach, it's recruiting day, National Signing Day, obviously. How do these young players now factor into your defense?
Well, I think they give us some depth. I try to be mindful of, because these kids will watch this part of it, but probably the one guy that I'd like to see come in because he's a junior college guy is Gary. I think Gary can come in here and Gary can give us the leadership, the hardness part of it. He can run extremely well. We know he'll have great special teams value for us too. And then the rest of the guys, and it's not to knock on those guys. It's just how will they adjust? I think that's probably the biggest thing, that when you look at younger kids and they're 18, 19-year-old kids, and you don't put the factor in stepping on this campus, going to school, trying to look at your environment, trying to pace through those things, and getting into our culture, which they have not been trained there. How well do they do there? And by the time the summer's over with and we step on the field in fall camp, we'll have a pretty good idea of who's going to be able to help us.
Coach, you come in and you meet all these new young men. Do you give out your trust and your respect, or is it something that they have to earn?
Oh, I think each unit's a little bit different. You'll hear Herm talk about unit pride and what extremely close to our guys. Now, I'm a little bit different because I'm the defensive coordinator, so I got to know everybody. But the first thing that we do is meet our players. And to me, it's having a relationship so they know exactly who I am. It's all genuine, and I get a chance to see what they are. Because at the end of the day, I really believe that they'll play their best if they're willing to, crack open their ribs and hand you your heart. I mean, that's what we're working on right now. It's the trust, just all the things that go along with being elite, and that's what we're working on right now.
Well, Coach Orlando, thank you for your time. I know this. When I grow up, I want to be like Todd Orlando.
I tell you what, we'll cut that hair, man.
I've got no shot, though. Honestly, I've got no shot. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Appreciate
well,
it.
Coach Orlando.